Business Latest is brought to you by Qatar Gas, delivering energy to the world.
It is in the details. A look. A connection. The moments that reveal the truth. Award-winning documentaries from critically acclaimed filmmakers. Witness documentaries to open your eyes. At this time on AlJazeera.
Afghanistan is faced with a huge challenge.
Relations have gone really sour between us and our allies.
We have inflicted considerable damage on the enemy.
The people who make international headlines.
Ultimately, the truth will out.
They want to stop this publication of information that embarrasses them.
Make time for Sir David Frost. Frost over the world. At this time on AlJazeera.
This is AlJazeera.
Welcome to the News Hour, live from Doha. I'm Lauren Taylor. From Al Jazeera's news centres here in Doha, London and Washington, we'll have live and continuing coverage of the uprising in Libya, including...
I'm Tony Bertley in Benghazi, the heartland of the Libyan revolution, where they're hoping for the best, a peaceful solution, but preparing for the worst, a military one.
Yemen's president blames the protests against him on the US and Israel. Tunisia's leading opposition figure quits the interim unity government. He's the third minister to go in a day.
I'm Stephen Cole in London with all the news from Europe, including...
We hope that this will come to an end more quickly, but I think our job is to try and look round the corner and plan for every eventuality.
Flying into action, Britain's military chiefs meet to plan for a possible no-fly zone in Libya.
Hello, world leaders are stepping up their rhetoric against Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi to step down. They're putting increasing political and economic pressure on Gaddafi to try to force him out. Meanwhile, the situation on the ground remains volatile. In the eastern city of Benghazi, protesters say they will keep up their fight. Residents of Nalut in western Libya say there are paramilitary forces loyal to leader Muammar Gaddafi about 10 kilometres away from the city. The town of Misrata is also under opposition control, but there have been fresh reports of battles with government forces there. And a wave of government attacks was repelled in the towns of AlJazeera and Zawiya. Lawrence Lee has the details.
Gaddafi routinely accuses the media of bias, but the most dispassionate analysis must suggest things really aren't going very well for him. This is the town of Nalut in western Libya, and here they want him gone. They're impatient too, because basic supplies are running out.
I've been waiting for 20 minutes and still there's no fuel. I just need it for my home, nothing more.
Reports from Zawiya, also in the west, reflect an increasingly desperate situation for Gaddafi. His army reportedly attempted to charge the town from two sides overnight, but suffered losses and withdrew, though not before several soldiers apparently surrendered, changing sides. The ineffectual nature of Gaddafi's military options appears to have prompted another classic siege tactic against towns like Nalut and Zawiya, blocking basic supplies to starve the town.
Yes, some sort of vegetables and things. Some people, they came to bring and they prevent them.
Evidence from the other side of the country too reinforces the suggestion that Gaddafi is not capable of much of a fight. This is AlJazeera in eastern Libya, where the army abandoned a massive ammunitions dump and left it in the hands of the opposition. Attempts by Gaddafi's air force to blow it up didn't amount to much past a hole in the ground before they were repelled.
Whether it is the European Union or the Arabs or America or even Russia, we ask them to just shut down this man's airspace. We are capable of taking him out by ourselves, but we are only requesting the international community to enforce a no-fly zone.
The city of Misrata too is holding out against pro-Gaddafi forces. This video clip apparently showing a successful strike against an army helicopter. With so many places now raising the flag of opposition, what are tribal allegiances? The most likely to stay loyal are people from his hometown Sirte and his tribe, the Gaddafi. They stretch down the entire middle of Libya to its southern border, but they're a small tribe and potentially disloyal in places.
They're surrounded by many other tribes. Many of these other bigger tribes have broke ranks in terms of their alliance or allegiance with this regime. The Gaddafi, being small and being surrounded by them, will have to take into account the consequences of Gaddafi's fall, the post-Gaddafi era. And at that point, you are likely to see defections from within this tribe.
So even if the insurgency is emboldened, it's acting carefully. They now have very large numbers of tanks, heavy weapons and ammunition at their disposal, as well as people queuing in line to join a new army. At the moment, though, they say they want to reinforce their towns before moving on the capital.
We have a force that can protect Benghazi. The force may use heavy trucks to transport tanks to go to Tripoli and pass through Sirte on the way because it still supports the regime. The power we have is enough. The ammunition, supplies and fuel are also enough. We don't have a problem.
When that attack might be is perhaps the most important question. Gaddafi's latest interview with Western media added nothing to the sum of knowledge, and anyway his assertion that all of Libya loves him is in direct conflict with all the attacks mounted on rebel towns. If he won't step down or leave the country, his fates must surely rest in the hands of those closest to him or those on the other side of the country. Lawrence Lee, Al Jazeera.
Just some live pictures to bring you. This is the hearing at the Senate Foreign Affairs Committee hearing on Capitol Hill, which is going on. The reason we're monitoring that is that US Secretary of State Hillary Clinton is due to address that hearing later on. And we'll, of course, be monitoring what she has to say. We expect the events and the crisis in Libya to be raised during the hearing, which is a regular occurrence on Capitol Hill. But, of course, we'll bring you what Hillary Clinton has to say when she starts giving evidence or takes questions. Now, Tony Bertley joins us from Benghazi. That's the eastern city in Libya, which is the main stronghold of the anti-Gaddafi movement. So, Tony, I think you want to show us a little bit of where you are and what's happening behind you there.
Yeah, I can't move very far at the moment, Lauren, but behind me, this is, as you said, this is the heart of the revolution, and here we're going a succession of speakers from the young to the old, doing anti-Gaddafi speeches, poems, and there's still a very strong momentum, anti-Gaddafi momentum here, because this is where it all began. They're doing this day in, day out, round the clock. Basically, people are just gripping this revolutionary fever, and they're celebrating every single day. So it's a tremendous feeling, but you're here, but there's a note of apprehension, because what's going to happen next? There's a big sigh now, what next? And we don't know what Gaddafi is going to do. His rhetoric suggests he's not going anytime soon. He's got heavily